Welcome to Dub Talk Live, brought to you by Man City Sleep World, brought to you by this dunk. Trace Jackson-Davis over Victor Wembanyama. Oh my gosh. This is, I think, this is just our show. I just want you to know it's this video on a loop. Because I see something new.
Chest bump, baby.
Every single time I watch it, we are going to see a little bit more of that dunk. Steve Kerr really, I think, wanted to swear right there.
Oh, yeah.
When he knew the camera was on him.
Everybody wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
This is Zena, Keita. I'm Kerith, Burke. The Warriors beat the Spurs this time around after they didn't at home. So this was a win the Warriors needed. The Spurs, of course, a Western Conference opponent. The Warriors trying to collect those W's and move up the standings. A huge dunk like that to put away the game certainly helps. What did you think when you saw that in real time?
Trace Jackson-Davis told us a long time ago that we would regret. The GMs would regret. And I thought immediately of all the GMs that are like, how did we let this man go in the second round? How did we let him drop all the way? This guy has been doing it all. Trace Jackson-Davis has been it for the Warriors. And in just this 1 week, he's denied Giannis Antetokounmpo twice at the basket. And now putting bodies on Victor Wembanyama? I thought of the GMs.
There you go.
That's what came to mind.
Okay. Our colleague Monty Poole had some observations as well, sort of this moment for this kid, right in line with what you're saying about how did he go from the second round. Man, oh man, oh man. All of this to say that having a presence at the rim on offense and defense has changed the game for the Warriors. This is a rookie who is going to start getting very important minutes heading into the postseason, and he deserves it.
That's right, Kerith. Everything that Trace Jackson does, both offensively and defensively, unlocks another dimension to the Warriors. Above the rim, both on offense and defense, being able to finish above the rim, being able to deny above the rim, being able to be a strong presence down on the block that makes things a little bit uncomfortable for people driving into the paint. This is something that the Warriors have desperately needed consistently on both ends. We know Kevon Looney can be a strong body. We know what he's done in the past to the likes of Domantas Sabonis and others around the league, but now you have someone that is athletic, fast, runs the floor, and can finish above the rim in traffic. It's exciting to see, to have someone like TJD, as patient as he is, be able to evolve in front of our eyes like this. It's unreal. He
is our BMW Ultimate Performer. Just looking at his night in total, 13, 10, and 5. 5 career assists right there. And then I was also looking back at his span of games, okay? 7 of 8, 3 of 3, 5 of 5, 6 of 7. So he's playing around the rim, high percentage shots. Teammates know exactly where to find him. And if your teammates know where to find you, they will find you. That's exciting.
He's a huge target, Kerith, and that's what you want. You want someone that is wanting the ball in traffic, that's calling for it in transition, and that's what he does. What I love so much about Trace Jackson-Davis is that what you just called out, he is efficient. When you look at his field goal percentage, not only in just these last 5 games, 66% or above, he's also 70% on the season in field goal effectiveness. So he looks at what can I do that is going to get a for sure bucket, and if it's not a for sure bucket, let me back out. Let me throw it back out. Let me find an opportunity. A lot of the times it's been Clay. Sometimes it's been Chris Paul. But that's how he gets those 5 assists, because he thinks about, is this going to be a high percentage shot for me? If not, I ain't got to take it. Let me go ahead and find someone that will take something that's in rhythm, that's in good position, that's ready to shoot. And that's how he finds opportunities for his teammates.
He's only going to grow, could become a double-double machine for the Warriors. And I think our little graphic down below said he had 11 rebounds. I might have shortchanged him when the box score says 10. But hey,
we'll take it, right?
A double-double. I don't want to shortchange anybody on a very special night. His connection with CP3 has been developing as well. And CP3 was at the podium. Take a listen.
Really good. I mean, if you watch his team play for a long time, they move the ball and share the ball extremely well. And with the shooting that we have and Draymond creating and stuff, Trace gives us a different dimension with a lob threat. And so I think we complement each other really well.
What are you reading when Victor Wembanyama's out for with his size and his rim protection? How were you able to so effectively kind of orchestrate offense around him?
I mean, sometimes you try to put him in the action away from the ball just to keep him far away from the rim. But he's such a smart player and a good defender that he changed a couple of my middies tonight. yeah, you got to shoot it to the moon. You know what I mean? And one of the lobs I threw to Trace, he got a hand on it. So he does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet.
What kind of rhythm do you guys establish in the beginning of the second half on both ends of the floor? I mean, I think it was a 28-4 run. Just what kind of rhythm do you feel like you guys were able to find?
Well, they came out and hit us hard. You know what I mean? The third quarter. As far as we couldn't really get stops, we was turning the ball over a little bit, and then we called a timeout and we just settled in. I think we just started defending, getting out in transition, and just tried to get a little bit more aggressive.
You've obviously played against so many amazing players, in this league. Wembanyama will be one of those at one point, I guess. What's it like for you to see him come into the league and to be, a rookie at like an unfinished product?
Man, it's really cool because I'm a student of this game, and I do a lot of grassroots basketball, and I watch these guys, and I know the work that goes into it. So I went to go see him play when he played against the G League team a year or two ago or whatnot. So to see him putting it all together and to know the type of work ethic that I mean, I'm old enough now that the coaches and all that stuff is people I played against and all that. So to hear how they talk about him around here, it's really pretty cool too.
Just talk about the mindset coming in after having lost to the Spurs on.
Yeah, the Chicago game was a tough one. We felt like that was a winnable game. San Antonio the other day, they just played harder than us. We didn't really move the ball, didn't execute, and we just wanted to come out. We got a 3-game trip. We always say you can't win them all without winning the first one. So we wanted to start it off the trip, right?
Do you think when Trace is done over Wemby?
It's tough. Which one? You know what I mean? I don't even know who he caught some of the lobs on, but that one towards the end of the game was a big play. When you're in these games night in and night out, it's plays like that sort of like seal the game. So that was one of those like, okay, we got it. We got it.
All right, the Warriors saying they wanted to start this road trip off right. You have to win the first one. It's against the Spurs. They wanted some redemption against the Spurs. But in the third quarter, it was looking a little dicey. The Spurs had a lead, 68-58. Steve Kerr called a timeout, and then fortunes changed. So what sparked this massive third quarter finish, Zena?
They answered the call. The Spurs came out on that 8-0 run, as you just mentioned, and then the Warriors realized that they need to play with the same energy that the Spurs came out with. You saw this same phenomenon happen in the last game, but that time the Warriors did not answer the call. They did not step up to the plate in terms of the energy, focus, and tenacity that they needed to have in order to play against a team that's young, moving the ball expeditiously, and also having energy on the boards. This time around, it was a completely different story. One of the stats that was very interesting for me to see was when you talk about points in the paint, in the first half, the Spurs were beating the Warriors 32-20 with points in the paint. Absolute barrage of buckets inside. Then in the third quarter alone, 20-32 in the third quarter alone, that flipped. Warriors were winning 44-40. So allowing them to only get 8 more points in the paint and then getting themselves 24, it's like complete different sense of urgency in terms of we need to come out, we need to attack the basket, and we need to play with the same level of tenacity that these Spurs have. And so that's really what changed. And that's what you want to see from the Warriors, because at this point in the season, being able to win after trailing at halftime, incredibly important for the Warriors.
Well, again, the Spurs, they had 37 points in the first quarter, and you're thinking, uh-oh, are we going to see a repeat of that same game? The first game against the Spurs where the defense was absent, Spurs built up this lead, and then finally in that third quarter, that's when the Warriors start getting some stops. Clay had a steal, led to a JK layup. Draymond had a steal, led to a Clay finger roll. So, okay. Defense leading to offense. JK was a part of that spark as well. A three, a layup. There you go. That's when the Warriors started to avalanche their lead in this game, and they were able to hang on to it. Now, we were curious about how the Warriors were going to start this game because there was a shakeup in the starting lineup in the last Spurs game that they lost awfully. They didn't have a lot of spacing on the floor. They needed something. So enter Klay Thompson. Enter Andrew Wiggins, re-entering that starting lineup right there. And did you like it? Did you not like it? We saw what that first quarter score was, but it took a little while for the guys to get going. Once they did, it looked pretty positive.
I loved it. very first bucket out the game was a driving layup by Wiggins. You love to see that. He needed to come in and be able to have a game like this, especially considering since he's come back from his personal leave, he hasn't had a great amount of games. He had 13 minutes the first game back, 15 minutes the next game back. And in that last game against the Spurs, he was all right. This game, Wiggins was attacking. Wiggins was taking his pick with the Spurs defenders and going to the bucket. And then you also saw him rebounding. This is something that he can do really well with the offensive putbacks and just be able to be a long presence. You talk about that third quarter change. Another thing that changed was contested shots. Wiggins was in folks' face in that third quarter. Even if they got the shot off, that's perfectly fine. It made them uncomfortable. And so you love to see Wiggins come back into that starting lineup and be that presence on defense. And then Klay Thompson. Now, Klay Thompson was 8 of 21 tonight. Not super efficient, but he got the buckets up that you needed him to get up. One
right
outside
there.
of the arc, but then also going into the paint. We've seen a little bit of this in the last few games from Klay Thompson where he's like, let me go ahead and get me some buckets. Let me get back, and great screen there from Draymond, but let me go ahead and get some fouls as well and get points all different types of ways for the Warriors. And so Klay Thompson, a third game straight, 20 or more points, being able to produce what his team needs, especially in the absence of Steph. And that's exactly what you want out of a player like Klay Thompson because they need someone to fill the gap of 27 points missing from Steph.
Yeah, when you're talking about filling the gap, I just wanted to point out for Wiggins as well, 9 of 18 field goal attempts with Steph out. I'm okay with that.
Right.
Wiggins, take him. If you're going to shoot 50%, go ahead, attack. Chris Paul said post-game, he talked to Andrew Wiggins about being more aggressive. It's like,
well,
go ahead.
With Andrew Wiggins, you mean the 6 of 8, because he was very efficient. So Jonathan Kuminga had 9-19.
Excuse me, looking at the wrong ones. I want to see Andrew Wiggins take more shots.
Yeah.
There you go.
But even with the shots that he's taking, 6 of 8, efficient.
There you go. Yep.
Right? You want him to take the high percentage shots. And I love to see 2 of 3 from outside the arc. And Wiggins hasn't shot particularly well in these last few games and last few months, but he has been going to the basket really well. And so you're seeing him start to climb into who he was right before that leave, which is what you want as you make a run towards the playoffs.
Thank you for that correction. We appreciate Wiggins' efficiency as well. Yeah, take more shots, Wiggins. Aggressive Wiggins always.
CP3 told him that.
Always helps with the
That's
Warriors.
right.
Okay, when we come back, why don't we talk about Jonathan Kuminga a little bit more? We'll put the spotlight on Jonathan. Then, of course, we have a Steph Curry update coming from Steve Kerr. When might we see him? You want to see this a little bit more? I can look at that a few more times. Okay. We'll be right back on Dubs Talk Live.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit us during our spring clearance sale. Save big on premium mattresses, plus free delivery. Hurry in now or visit us online at sleepworld.com.
Hey everybody, we're back
Hi,
on
YouTube
YouTube. David
fam.
says, bonsoir, Madame Zena.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Adriana says, I love how CP3 has been playing since he's been back. Yes, indeed. This is a point guard coming off a fractured hand, and it's like, he
Crazy.
looks like...
That, you know what? Thank
Right?
you for
I know.
reminding me of
Yes,
that.
yes.
Like you don't
Some
even
wild
recognize
stuff.
it. It's crazy.
Man.
It's crazy.
Man, oh man, oh man. Let's see. And another point, yeah, Klay driving into the paint and getting the free throw line has been big. How many shots did he have from the stripe tonight? He got one. He missed some. The Warriors' free throw shooting has been
Questionable.
not so great lately.
Questionable.
Uh-huh.
But you know someone who is good at free throw shooting, which I am impressed by. And actually, when I looked at his stats, I was actually shocked that it was pretty consistent. Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay.
He's pretty good. I mean, he had 2 of 2 tonight, right? Yeah, 2 of 2 tonight. But what he has to do is get to the line more. Someone like him has got to be shooting way more than just 2 free throws.
I would say that
Again.
he's making his case to the referees to get to the
Oh,
line.
yeah. He's trying.
A little
That's
bit
true.
more?
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
Yes, indeed.
I agree.
Here, are we starting with JK or CP3? Which would you rather do? Okay, all right. Let me make sure that I got CP's line right. Dope. 9 of 19. 19, 9, 8. Okay, great.
Okay. All right, YouTube.
8 minutes for this block? We're back on Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Following along with some of the comments on our YouTube version of the show, we have one that says CP3 has been playing very well since he came back. Yes, that's coming back from a fractured left hand. It looked like he picked up right where he left off, and now suddenly Steph Curry isn't here. So suddenly CP3 is the guy who's going to organize things on the court, facilitate for teammates, and he's looking darn good doing it.
He's a darn good decision maker, and he's a perfect person to have as your backup coming off the bench. It's almost surreal to think that this is who you have coming off the bench to support a Stephen Curry. Him and TJD in this pick and roll action, you love to see it because number one, CP3 is one of the best to do it when it comes to the floor vision. Lob City is literally made because of CP3 out of the Clippers, but now he's brought that action to the Warriors, and TJD is a fast learner. And that's another thing you love to have is a patient and spongy big, and that's exactly what TJD is. He learns, he absorbs, he figures out where to roll and how to get out of the way. And tonight you saw a little bit of different actions. It wasn't just high pick and roll, let's find TJD above the rim. It was also high pick and roll, let's keep the Spurs defenders honest and make them figure out who they want to pick up. And you saw Chris Paul take it all the way to the basket a few times. And so you love the aggression, but also the intelligence coming out of the two of them. And it's beautiful basketball when you have a player coach in CP3 teaching a rookie like that and TJD how to be effective on the pick and roll.
I was just thinking the same thing. You're talking about a 19-year veteran working with a rookie. What an absolute luxury for TJD. A spongy big, is that what you said?
I love it. Yes, a spongy big just soaking up all the knowledge.
Yeah.
You saw TJD doing some Draymond handoffs tonight. I mean, he's had some really great passes, being able, again, when he knows he doesn't have a high efficient shot, he passes it right out. But when you talk about that CP3 and TJD connection, it's a matter of TJD just looking on the floor, and whether it's CP3 being like, come get me, right? Or TJD being like, this is a good opportunity. You have to learn that. That's instinctual, right? And so being able to play with him and play off of him so well, it's fun. It's fun, and it's a great go-to when you can't get movement outside or shots outside.
Chris Paul also cashing in 19 points tonight, something you have to do without Steph. So CP3 just giving it from all angles, 19, 9, and 8. And I think he said, trying to think of what he said post-game. If I'm not talking to you on the floor, that's a bad side. Yeah, so that player coach thing that you were talking about, you want CP3 talking, and he's right in Trace Jackson Davis's ear. Look how much it's rewarding him. Okay, Jonathan Kuminga. He was the one who was 9 of 18. We saw Jonathan Kuminga in the last Spurs game explode in that fourth quarter. It was 19 fourth quarter points, 26 total. Too little, too late, but it felt like JK wanted to continue his momentum.
I was on the same page as you as far as that too little, too late. As exciting as it was for him to get 22 points in that second half, 4 points and 0 rebounds in that first half was unexcusable for someone like Jonathan Kuminga that is supposed to be the gas starter for the Warriors. But tonight, you saw him again start a little bit slow, other than that dunk. That dunk was above the rim in the first half, but you saw him getting more and more comfortable as a playmaker in this first half. And whenever his shot wasn't falling the way he needed it to be, or he wasn't getting the calls, right? Because he was trying to drive to the basket, wasn't getting the calls he needed, he still found a way to be a distributor, a playmaker, getting the ball up the court and also finding his way to the right spots on the floor. So again, the beautiful thing about Jonathan Kuminga's game as he figures out what he wants to do on the floor is just the refinement of his game. If I can't get to the spot that I want to get to, maybe I can shoot the three. If I can't shoot the three, I'll try to get to the spot that I can get to and get a foul. If I can't do either one of those, where are my teammates, right? And you love to see the options start to open up for him because he's a player that can do so much with his size, with his speed, with his athleticism, and now incorporating his basketball intelligence and IQ.
And you also made the point during our commercial break when we were on YouTube that if JK is going to attack, he can also collect some points for the Dubs on the free throw stripe,
And
which is
he's
going to be important for his game.
Correct. He's a good free throw shooter as well, shooting over 70%, 80% from the line. And he just needs to get more free throws. And you made this mention during the break that he's been trying to make a call for it, right? He's been trying to ask for a few more calls, but he just has to keep doing that, getting to his spot. And sometimes he has to understand there's players like him in this league where if you get to your spot a little too easy, it might actually hurt you, right? Referees might be like, you didn't get touched. You were there already. You're good to go. You might be a little too good sometimes, JK. But for Kuminga, either way, you just love to see that there is diversity in his game, and he can offer the Warriors a lot of different things, a lot of different ways.
Maybe some of the referees waiting to see if the basket goes in before they blow that whistle. I don't know. So with Klay Thompson going back into the starting lineup for this game, that means Brandon Podziemski was coming off the bench. How did you see him respond to that change?
I thought he responded well. The thing about Brandon Podziemski is that he is someone that is always going to play hard. He is always looking at the game of basketball as a game. How can I compete? How can I show up? What ways can I bring an advantage to myself or to my team? What you love about Brandon Podziemski is that the way he plays and how hard he plays holds everyone around him accountable. There was a particular play where Andrew Wiggins got a breakaway layup and didn't think anybody was behind him and kind of trotted into the layup, ended up getting fouled, but almost could have had an and one had he actually gone up with some energy and some oomph, okay? I don't know if oomph is a real word, but had he gone up with some oomph. Brandon Podziemski was not happy about that.
Is that the one where he's like...
Yeah, he was like, come on, let's go. He was going back the other way, and you couldn't tell if he was kind of like just amped for the steal he had just gotten, or if it was, or the fact that they had a turnover, or it was, hey, you come on, like you could have had an and one on that. We're trying to win this game. We're trying to put them away. And I definitely think it was the latter, because the way that he has competed in every single game, the stories that have been told about him calling out Draymond at practice, him calling out Andrew Wiggins in that moment. This is who he is. I love the challenge call. When he asked Steve Kerr, I don't think it was
He
an
didn't ask. He demanded.
It wasn't. It wasn't an ask. It was
Yeah.
a demand. Call that. Call that. When he gets that hustle play, bouncing the ball off of that Spurs player going out of bounds, the way he is so energetic and passionate about, we have to play hard and we have to play the right way. It holds everyone around him accountable. And so I think he responded well to it. He showed up offensively, which he had struggled last game, shooting 28% from the field. Tonight, being able to shoot well outside in the perimeter and then also having those tough buckets inside. You love to see it out of the rookie. He played really well for me.
One other thing that happened during this game was involving Otto Porter Jr., who announced his retirement here. And here was a statement: for the past 11 years, I've had the chance to live my lifelong dream of playing in the NBA. He continues that his body is just not allowing him to play to the standard that he wants, so he's going to retire. That means he retires a champion. The Golden State Warriors. He helped them win the championship in 2022. I remember his three-point shooting, his corner threes, his rebounding, and his defense. That's what Otto Porter gave you. It was like real important bread and butter stuff. But you think about who helped them, who did the nitty-gritty work. Corner three right there. It was Otto. And I'm really happy that he got this championship. Also got his money with the Wizards as well. So there you go. You know, you just see a good guy. And unfortunately, this is one of those cases where if I had my magic wand and I could wave around and say, like, I don't want this guy to get injured in his career. I don't want this guy to get injured in his career. What could Otto Porter have been if he wasn't slowed down by the foot or other kind of things? Man. And he also looked like Wilt Chamberlain, which is also very amusing.
And he's also only 30 years old. 30 years old, 11-year vet, ultimate 3-and-D guy, ultimate role player, and ultimately a champion.
Yeah.
So
sometimes it's sad to see when somebody's body has an expiration date, because at 30 years old, he is still extremely young, and athlete years, okay, that's a nice career. Congratulations, Otto Porter Jr., on being a champion. All right, when we come back on Dubs Talk Live, we're going to take a look at the schedule. The Warriors trying to collect these W's, currently 34-30. Where does that put them in the standings with the Mavericks and the Lakers coming up? I couldn't remember your familiarity with Otto, so I just sort of...
Oh, I love it. No, you're good to go.
All right, yak.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was a beautiful montage.
Great. right. D says we have some real good playing rookies.
We
Great
do.
players, full of energy. Yes, they are. Young legs who can make an impact. There you go.
I agree.
King Farouz is Otto Champ. It's me, Ann Automatic. I really like that nickname. I remember that.
Automatic.
Automatic.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
Can he join our organization as a coaching staff? No, I mean, he could. I don't think that's going to happen this season. I think he's going to take the year off, or the rest of the retirement off, and figure out what he wants to do. Yes, indeed. James Harden gets all the foul calls. Yes, but I don't think Kuminga is at
James Harden level just
Harden
yet.
level. Not yet. Not yet. Oh, excuse me. That fifth foul on Draymond over Wemby, that was it the one that got him bounced from the game? Anyway, Draymond fouled out of this game. The
That
Warriors
is
still were
true.
able to hold the lead. Because Wemby started to attack. He just started, did he take 2 threes? I know he took one that missed, but it was off rim.
What are you talking about?
There you go.
I might be forgetting.
That's okay. Hi, D, you're welcome. Luka has had a stretch of these triple-double games where he's scoring 35 points as well. Like, that is
7
wild.
straight
With Kyrie next to
triple-double.
him, that's a heck of a backcourt. But that's it, though. It's
Yeah.
like, do you let Luka get his and turn off everybody else?
Well, usually that's what you want.
All right, back on Dubstock Live. First one of the season without Steph Curry. Maybe you saw the picture of him icing his foot. Steve Kerr announced that it is very unlikely that Steph will play against the Mavericks. So, okay, one more that they've got to do without Steph, and then maybe he'll be back for that Lakers game. This is tough. Dallas and the Lakers, those are the teams ahead of the Warriors in the standings. What are you thinking about the rest of this road trip?
It's going to be incredibly difficult, but I think that this game was definitely a pull together type of game for the Warriors. And what we were just talking during the break about what to do with the Mavericks, especially with Luka Doncic recording triple doubles like it's nothing, and also having Kyrie Irving in that backcourt. You can try and shut down Luka Doncic from a scoring perspective, but then you have to think about everything he creates for everyone else around him. So really, this is going to take a team effort, particularly on the outside and the perimeter, and really pressuring up on those guards on the outside and rotating well, helping the helper. Because one thing that Luka does well is make sure that ball moves. And you saw what the Spurs did tonight, what the Warriors had to do. You're going to have to see a little bit of that.
Okay, a strong defensive shell.
Yes.
Keep your stuff together, contest those threes, et cetera, because it wasn't a great defensive effort versus the Spurs the first time. Better tonight, but the Mavs are the Mavs.
The
okay?
Mavs are the Mavs.
Okay, so we march on. We will continue the conversation on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Thank you. Chico says, make the simple play. That's a way to cut down the turnovers. Andas says, have to make Luka play defense. I don't know if his coaches make him play defense.
Yeah, I don't know if
Who's
Luka's-
Luka guarding? I don't know. I don't know.
that's a
don't
really
know.
good question.
Well, do you think the Warriors stick
Maybe
with this
Chris Paul?
starting lineup?
No, that doesn't make.
I think they stay with the starting lineup.
I absolutely think they stay
Yeah.
with the starting lineup.
Okay.
I absolutely do think that.
Okay.
That's a really good question. That's really tough.
Ooh, good point. Frustrate Luka so he gets distracted with the referees.
That
and then
can definitely be a thing.
Wiggins, please dunk on Luka. Wow, that was a moment. That was a massive, massive dunk. So Wiggins' family made pictures of that dunk and put it on their T-shirts. Like seeing Wiggins' daughters wearing Daddy's dunk was pretty great. Okay, did we forget anything? We gave the Steph update. He's probably not going to be back. There's going to be an official Steph update tomorrow as far as reevaluation dates and how things are looking. But Steve Kerr basically saying he's not going to play against the Mavericks. So that makes sense. It's going to be a little too soon.
Yeah.
I got everything on my paper. You have everything on your paper?
Let me see. I
Okay.
think I'm good.
Notes.
Notes. Pods. Very proud of him. And I just wanted to say that, shout out to the Warriors for rallying. They're 5 of 16 when they're not leading at halftime. Now they're 6 of 16. So shout out to them for rallying after the second half, or the after halftime, and coming out in the third quarter. Again, very, very important that they're capable of doing that going into the harder games this season.
Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We will be back
Bye.
on